Hello everyone. If you're a new viewer, I'd skip to this timestamp because I'm going to give an address to all my old viewers. Hello everyone. So, I'm assuming you're an old viewer here, but what happened was I started just like having personal things to do and just couldn't keep on making Roblox tutorials. But now I'm actually much better at programming and I'm more passionate about it, so I'm ready to start again. And I'm also going to tell you that I've unlisted all my previous videos because I know I can do better and those series won't finish. If you want me to reboot any of those, let me know and I will. But for now, we're going to start on a new series. Alright, so this is how to make a tower defense game. So the old tutorial that most people used was Gnomecone's video, which is still very good, but it's starting to grow older, and now that new things have been implemented into Roblox, I feel it's best we start getting a new tutorial in. So it's going to be the same system as Gnomecode's because, that's how a tower defense works, but it's going to have much newer code and much more efficient stuff. So today we're going to go over building the map and getting around it. So the round system is by far the most important part of a tower defense game. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get that system in where we can spawn enemies and then go to the next round. So let's start. We're going to start with building the map. I'm going to time-lapse this, but I'd recommend pausing the video and building your own map. It doesn't have to be pretty, just something that has a path. Alright, welcome back. So this is what I built for my map. It's just a simple path with a few decorations on it. But now we need to group it. So grouping is just good practice, it's more efficient and it just makes it easier to navigate. So I'm going to group this into 3 parts. The floor, and the floor is going to be the tiles you want the player to be able to place units on. So if I want them to be also to place units on this, I would select this and put it into the floor. So I'm going to group them and I'm going to name this placeable floor. Now these are for scenery, so I'm going to group them. I said group, but these ones, they're for scenery, but they don't really work well as a group together. So what we're going to do is we're going to go Control-Alt-G and create a folder, and we're going to call it scenery. So now we have the scenery and placeable floor. We're also going to do the folder grouping, but with the paths. Control-Alt-G, folder, and name it path. So now we have 3 main parts, we'll ignore that. 3 main parts, so we're going to group them all together. Oh, okay, so you can't do that. You're going to have to select the placeable floor and then the 2 paths together, and then rename it to map. I'm going to call it spring map. So this is what I'm going to use for the remainder of the tutorial. Now, we will get into adding waypoints along this map in the next tutorial, but for now, we want to start, so let's just get into the waves. So we're going to start by putting a script in server script service, and we're going to call it main. So this is just going to be our main script, and I'm going to show you guys how to do things very efficiently. I'm going to add a folder in replicate storage, call it shared. So this will be all of the things that the server and client can access together. And we're going to add another folder in it, call it modules. And in this folder, above this folder, I'm going to go to my toolbox, I'm going to go to my models, and I'm going to go to my loader that I've created. So this is what we call a module loader. What the loader will do is basically it has this method, load modules. It will automatically require and initialize your modules depending on what you set the init function to be. I'm going to set the init function to this, and it has these main functions. I will link the loader in the description. Of course, module loaders are completely optional. You can do this without the loader, just you'll have to do things with the main instead. But yeah, so in the loader, we have this, and we can ignore it for now. Now in server script service, I'm going to add a folder under main, call it the modules. No, we're going to add a folder in server storage, call it the modules. So inside this, we're going to add our module script, and we're going to call it round handler. So this will handle all rounds. So let's start programming. So we don't need any services right now, so we're going to leave that blank for now. We're going to add a few static variables. So what a static variable is basically something, it's also known as a constant. So we can put this here, constants. Basically, it's something that won't change. It's just like a base variable you have that you'll use throughout the script that won't change. So the things we're going to use are local intermission time. So this will be the time you want to have between rounds. We'll make it 7. We're going to do local spawn speed. This will be how fast you want the enemies to spawn together. We'll do 0.1, 2, I guess, 1, 2. And that's all we'll need for now. Now, we're going to add a few dynamic variables. What a dynamic variable is basically something that will change. So, like throughout the script, this variable will be referenced and changed. So we're going to need local current units, and we're going to type it as a table. Now, what I did here, I did something called typing. Basically, when you do this, you can then assign what the property of that should be. So now I'll put a table in. But if I were to set this to strict, and I try to type it as like a string, I will get an error because you can't convert a string into a table. So it's just nifty. It's not needed, but it's just nice to have. And we will add more to this later. But now let's continue. So what we're going to want to do is now we're going to go to module. Local wait round handler equals this table. Return round handler. So we're going to need a few functions on the round handler. First, round handler function round handler :start. So this will start the round, and it will just continue on the round loop. Oh, we also need this local round amount. So this is the amount of rounds we'll do. We'll set it to 20 for now. So now we're going to do for I equals 1 round amount do. So now this will go through every single round. So we will just do print I task.wait intermission time. So now this is the base system of how a round works. What you do is you go through a number for the amount of rounds. So now this will run 20 times, and you will put your logic. So your logic code would go there, and then you wait for the amount of time you want, like between rounds, which is known as the intermission. and then you go to the next one. So now, if I go to main, and I just quickly do this, we'll change this later. So now when I do this, 1, 2, yes. There we go. So it will take the intermission time and then just continue going through. So now we don't just want to, print something and then go on. We want to like actually keep track of stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a placeholder function, and we're just going to go function round handler create units current round, and we're going to type this as a number, so this knows that this function will take a number. So we're going to check if they implemented a number so it doesn't break if they didn't. So we're going to go if type of current round equals number, then, and we're going to do for I current round times 3 do table.insert unit current units. For I equals 1, my bad. And now basically we will just add a task.delay. So what task.delay does, it basically, instead of doing task.wait, which will just stop this from doing, basically this will run in the background while the rest of the code goes. And after the time I put, we'll do 3 seconds. It will run this function, which will do table.remove. And we're just going to remove a random one since it doesn't matter for now. Current units, and we're just going to do hashtag current units. So basically we're just removing the last unit. But let's just do a math.random 1 to 5. And now we're just gonna do this. So we're gonna do something called a repeat wait loop. And basically we're just gonna do repeat task.wait until hashtag current units equals 0. So now, and then we will print no more units, and then it should continue. So we're just gonna do self. So basically what self is, we do round handler :start. That means self is the round handler. So we can do self create units, and then I. And now we will do this. Let's see how it works. Oh, I forgot I deleted the script from the main, but let me just do this to test. Ooh, looks like we got our first error. I often make this mistake, so my bad. Basically, I tried to insert the table into the string. It has to be the other way around. Alright, let's see how this works. No more units. It wastes the intermission time. And then it goes to 2. Then there's no more units. We'll wait the intermission time. Then go to 3. Alright. So, congratulations. This is the main system. This is how the game will work in like its actual entirety. but of course this will be changed heavily. Alright, so I have shown y'all the main system of how this is going to work. Next tutorial, this will be changed very heavily, but this is the basics on how it's going to work. So, thank you for watching this tutorial, and I will see you on the next one.